Our first stop starts right here at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum in Duluth, Minnesota. It houses one of the finest collections of historic railroad equipment and artifacts anywhere. And the great thing about it is a lot of the pieces in the collection, like this Alco engine, are operational and used in a variety of mainline excursions that they offer. The museum is located in downtown Duluth, Minnesota, situated on the southwestern corner of Lake Superior. Your own railroading passion will light up the minute you walk into the museum. Housed in the old Union Depot, which is chock full of railroad memorabilia, equipment, and artifacts that were actually used in this area of Minnesota and Wisconsin around the turn of the century. And much of what you see isn't just for show.
One of the things that we learned early on by running the North Shore Scenic Railroad in conjunction with the Lake Superior Railroad Museum is that artifacts are better maintained if they're used. And what it allows us to do is to show our guest visitors a different look at railroad history every time they come and visit.
The museum has a well-equipped and spacious shop. Curator Tom Gannon and his crew of paid staff and volunteers work very hard to maintain their extensive collection.
There's an awful lot going on in this shop all the time. There's usually at least 2 or 3 projects, sometimes more. And it's very key to our ability to stay ahead and to get projects done so that we can add more exhibits to the museum and at the same time keep the rolling stock working so that our visitors that come during the summer and ride our trains are able to enjoy the ride.
With 28 miles of track and a wide variety of equipment, the railroad is able to offer several different excursions for you to choose from. They've even got a dinner train, but with a notable twist.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. The Lake Superior Railroad Museum and North Shore Scenic Railroad welcomes you on board our elegant dinner train tonight.
The North Shore folks invite local chefs from the area fine dining establishments to prepare and present their dinners right there on the train. Each week it's a different chef and a new and exquisite menu. And you'll savor your meal in one of the most authentic dining cars in the country, the Lake of the Isles. The car was built in 1950 for the Great Northern Railway's Empire Builder, and the proof is right there in the original glass relief partitions. Unique and rare elements that harken back to those glorious days of elegant dining on the rails. It inspires some to dress the part.
Well, this is supposed to be like a 40s, 50s train and a dinner experience, and it's just fun to dress up and try to create the mood of the time. We have great friends that came with us, everybody dressed up, and it was just fun to kind of try to relive a little bit of that time when it was a little more romantic than maybe today. Trains are just fun.
There's an equal amount of fun going on in the back of the train as well, and it's geared for the kids. The railroad offers family pizza nights when they operate the dinner train. This railway truly has something for everyone. The regular day-long excursion train is also a favorite, especially when your trip is being pulled by the magnificently restored Sioux Main Line steam engine, on loan from the Locomotive and Tower Preservation Fund of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. With 78-inch drivers and a full head of steam, 2719 can still sustain 90 miles an hour. But your journey proceeds at a safe, leisurely pace so that you can delight in the sights and sounds of Duluth's bustling shipyards, where the big ships connect America to the world's markets, and then on to the north through pristine lakeshore woods. It's a 56-mile round trip.
They'll cross 7 different rivers and streams with bridges that are over 200 feet above the chasm below. There are gorges with fast-running North Shore streams and rivers that cascade over rocks all the way down to freshen themselves into Lake Superior's waters.
You'll stop for a few hours at the charming town of Two Harbors, Minnesota. and left free to explore before heading back to Duluth. But some riders prefer to stick around and watch 2719 being prepared for the return to Duluth. Getting this close to a living, breathing iron horse sparks the imagination and fires the passion of railroad enthusiasts of all ages.
I want to be able to remember this day for the rest of my life because this was my first ride on a steam locomotive. It was just incredible to watch that hulking monster blowing smoke all over the place, especially with the cylinder cocks open. That was my favorite part. And then the locomotive was blowing its whistle and dinging the bell, and you gotta love trains. I mean, who wouldn't love that? It just fills you with excitement, doesn't it?
Maybe Samuel's excitement and passion will lead him to one day join the ranks of North Shore's many volunteers and help preserve and present this area's rich railroad history.
I've been here since I was 8 years old, so it's kind of been like a daycare. I've been giving these guys a lot of gray hairs down here and learning a lot along the way.
Give her one more. Cale is a very good student. He's very interested, he wants to learn, and he's doing a very good job.
Together, old-timer and apprentice work to preserve a priceless past.
Later steam engines, or the last steam engines, had roller bearings on most of this, and they didn't have to grease them like this.
In Frank's mind, people like Cale and the other volunteers play a vital role in preserving America's railroading legacy.
They are the future because my age, there isn't going to be many of us left around that actually work steam engines.
Thankfully, there's a new generation of passionate railroaders following in Frank's footsteps.
It's working with history. Where else in the world could a 20-year-old kid like myself have an opportunity to work with a piece of equipment from 1923 with folks that did it for over 50 years? I mean, the knowledge that I'm getting, most people in their lives would dream about, and I feel extremely privileged.
And you'll feel privileged too when you spend time at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum and at the North Shore Scenic Railroad, where you and your family can immerse yourselves in another time and place and experience firsthand this region's rich transportation heritage.